Welcome back, traders, to my market outlook for Nasdaq futures for the week of December 9th. Now, I just got back last night from my Eurobonus Millionaire Challenge, where we traveled around the world, flew with 14 different airlines, traveled over 38.8 thousand miles in less than 13 days. I have the day one vlog uploaded already, but more is coming, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on those. And also leave me those questions in the comments and I'll answer them. Now let's talk about the market. I will be just looking at Nasdaq futures this time around. I'm coming back. I'm just getting back into the groove of trading, so I will be looking at S&P and maybe sometimes the dollar index later on in the future. But for this video, I just want to focus on Nasdaq. Also, this video is going to be a little bit more raw with very little editing. I want to give my videos more of a genuine feel, so I may stumble over my words, but going forward, I just want to stick with this style. Now, first things first, I got the economic calendar pulled up, so let's just take a look at where the volatility will be this week. I see that Monday and Tuesday, we don't really have a lot. So I'm thinking it's going to be mostly consolidation, or maybe it could be setting up for the rest of the week. And I see here that Wednesday we do have CPI, so that's going to be the main event this week. So Monday and Tuesday may be a little quiet, just getting ready for the volatility for CPI. And of course, CPI is going to be that manipulation move, so I'm not going to participate ahead of time, but afterwards I'll be looking to take anything that I can see. And seeing that Thursday we also have PPI, I may want to be a little cautious, maybe wait for the 9:30 opening or even like 10 o'clock. And then Friday, it should be pretty quiet. Okay, so here we have Nasdaq micros on the weekly chart, and looking at the big picture, this drop right here respected the rejection block, rallied back up, and we had a little drop right here respecting this BISI. Over here, it did wick into it, but you can see that nobody's laying over it. Then we rallied up some more. This drop right here, if you look to the left, respected this inversion fair value gap, and now we've rallied up to all-time highs. Now make sure you ignore this last candle because this is going to be this week's candle and it hasn't done forming yet, so don't count this as a fair value gap until the end of the week. Now, as we are at all-time highs, it gets kind of hard to find a target, but I've taken a projection and I'll just show you how I did it. I took from the body of this candle down to up to this high here. You can see I have the negative 0.5 right here, and then I took the low of this candle up to this high, and that's how I got the -1, and they both are overlapping each other. So I think this would be a good upside target to shoot for if we are going to continue being bullish. Now, if you take a closer look here at the most recent week, don't count this as a fair value gap, but we do have a weekly volume imbalance right here. And if you're looking at this big down candle here as a order block, the mean threshold right here lays just underneath that volume imbalance. So this is going to be a good PD array if we're going to get some downward movement for a retracement before we go and reach for that target, the projection target. Or we could not have a retracement and we just rallied up to that projection target right away. Now let's go ahead and jump to the daily chart, and let me just reset it here. So on the daily chart, I want to focus a little bit on the more recent price action here. Now remember, we do have that weekly target that I was talking about, but looking at the daily chart, we have been really bullish lately for the last couple of weeks, creating 1, 2, 3 fair value gaps. So I think it's going to be pretty unlikely that price will bust through all these fair value gaps just to reach back into that weekly volume imbalance. So I'm looking at this lowest fair value gap here as kind of like the last line of defense, although technically that volume balance is my last line of defense. But if we do get retracement, I think the lowest it should retrace to while still remaining bullish is going to be this fair value gap. And let me go ahead and stretch this out, because this fair value gap, you may think, oh, it looks bigger than it should be. Well, there is a small volume imbalance here, so I'm including that in the fair value gap. And I'm looking at this daily down candle right here as an order block, and the top of the body lays pretty close to the bottom of that fair value gap. So I'm looking at that as kind of my last line of defense. Really, like, I think it can retrace to there. So really the last line of defense is the weekly volume imbalance. I don't want the price to trade underneath that if we're going to remain bullish. Now there's also this second fair value gap right here. This could price could retrace back into this as well. If you look left, it does line up with the last swing high, so it could be a mitigation block with a fair value gap. So I could see price coming back out here using this discount PD array as support to bounce higher for that projection target. Now the highest fair value gap, I'm not putting too much emphasis on this one because I do think price can trade through that in order to reach for either the second or third fair value gap. So I'm really going to be looking for both of these to be support. Now, you don't want to just blindly buy into them. You want to go into the lower time frame. So once price reaches these PD arrays, you want to go into the lower time frame and look for confirmation on the lower time frame in order to get into a trade. Remember, you want to have that lower time frame set up before getting into the trade for a confirmation entry. So that's pretty much it for this week's outlook. Please consider giving this video a like and subscribing if you haven't done so for any future videos, including my Eurobonus Millionaire Challenge vlogs. Also, pay attention to this week's economic calendar and be mindful of CPI and PPI on Wednesday and Thursday. And until next time, guys, safe trading.